Brings us back to Matthew 24, and Jesus was asked this question, what will be the sign of your coming? And he spoke about the temple being destroyed, then he spoke about wars and famines and earthquakes. And he showed that an increase in war is going to be one of the features of the last days. Now, if you know anything about Jewish ideas about the Messiah, if you were a Jewish person who believed in the coming of the Messiah, that might be a little bit troubling. Because actually one of the views which the Orthodox Jews around here have is when the Messiah comes, he's going to bring peace and justice to the world. So if Jesus comes and then there's war and trouble, then Jesus can't be the Messiah. And that's one of the arguments. If you get talking to a religious Jewish person, they will say, well, if Jesus is the Messiah, how come there's all this war and trouble? How come we've had 2,000 years of Holocaust and troubles and wars and things? Doesn't fit in with what the Messiah is supposed to do. When the Messiah comes, he's supposed to bring peace and justice to the world. And actually, I wrote a little leaflet here, which is called What's the Messiah Supposed to Do?, which you can take and give to any Jewish people who have this idea. But it's a serious question. And according to the Orthodox view, when the Messiah comes, he's supposed to, it says here, 6 qualifications. He's supposed to have the correct genealogy, being descended from King David, be anointed the King of Israel, return the Jewish people to Israel, rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, bring peace to the world and end all war, and bring the knowledge of God to the world. So that's an argument which is used against Jesus. It's referred to a book by Asher Norman called 26 Reasons Why Jews Don't Believe in Jesus, and that's one of the big things he says about why if you're Jewish, you shouldn't believe in Jesus, because when the Messiah comes, he's supposed to bring peace and justice to the world. And if anyone has not done these 6 things I've just read to you, then he can't be the Messiah, so you can forget him. Well, actually, we do believe that Jesus is the Messiah, and we believe from the Scriptures there are 2 pictures of the Messiah, which you'll find in the Hebrew Scriptures. One is of the Messiah coming, who'll be the suffering servant Messiah, who will fulfill Isaiah 53 and be the one upon whom the Lord will lay the iniquity of us all as a sacrifice for the sin of the world. Then, according to the New Testament, he's going to come into the world and then die, rise again from the dead, and depart from the scene, and come back again at some unspecified date in the future, according to the New Testament. Now, according to the Hebrew Scriptures, when the Messiah comes, he's going to bring peace and justice to the world, according to Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 1 to 4. So if you have, as a result of Jesus coming, the Jews being scattered from Jerusalem, the temple being destroyed, and wars and troubles, it's difficult to believe that Jesus is the Messiah. It's a big argument. Now, I believe there's an answer to it, and I believe that Jesus is the Messiah. There's even a scripture which does say that when the Messiah comes, he'll be followed by a time of trouble, and even by wars and desolations. Anyone know where you find that scripture? No. Daniel chapter 9. Daniel chapter 9, verse 26, it says, after 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end of it shall be with a flood. Until the end of the war, desolations are determined. One of the most remarkable prophecies of the Messiah in the Hebrew Scriptures, it says Messiah is going to come after a specified time. I haven't time to go into that, but it does lead up exactly to the time of Jesus coming. Messiah is going to be cut off. He's going to die a violent death, but not for himself, not for his own sins, but for the sins of others. And after that's happened, then a group of people is going to come and destroy the city, that's Jerusalem, and the sanctuary, that's the temple. And there's going to be a time then of flood, which is a Hebrew term used for invasion. And after that, there'll be desolations and war. Did that happen? What happened in AD 70, 40 years after Jesus came? The Romans came and destroyed the temple, destroyed Jerusalem. The Jewish people were scattered into the earth, around the earth, and there was time of wars and desolations which followed. So Daniel actually does say that there will come a time after the Messiah in which there'll be wars and troubles. Will come to a consummation in Daniel 9:27 when he says that he, that's, I believe, the Antichrist actually, will confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. Some kind of a peace covenant for 7 years will be confirmed at the end of this age. Again, I'm not going to go into that in detail because it could actually take us away from what I'm talking about specifically tonight. But it does say in the Bible there's going to be some kind of a covenant which will be made, which may lead to a time of peace and people declaring peace and safety, but it'll be a false peace and lead up to the end of days trouble. Now, going back to what it says in the Matthew 24 and other passages, you see that Jesus says at the time of the end of days there's going to be a general state of wars happening, which will also be connected with wars and famines and natural disasters happening worldwide. And going on in the passage, it says that that is going to trigger the period known as the Great Tribulation, which will be followed by the second coming of Jesus in power and glory, which will be followed by the millennial kingdom, when Jesus will reign on the earth for 1,000 years. So you've got a sequence of events when you look through all of these prophecies, beginning of the times of troubles, leading to the very serious time known as the Great Tribulation, leading to the second coming of the Messiah after the last war, and leading to a time of peace and justice when Jesus reigns on the earth. The question which is somewhat debatable, which Andy's already raised, is the timing of the rapture of the church. At some point in this, Jesus is going to take those who believe in him out of this world supernaturally to meet with him in the event which we call the rapture of the church. People have different ideas of the timing of it, but if you read the scriptures, you have to believe it's going to happen because Jesus said it's going to happen. Paul said it's going to happen in 1 Thessalonians. There's going to be a time when supernaturally all those who believe in Jesus will be taken out of this world into the presence of the Lord in the event which we call the rapture, or the seizing away from this earth to another realm in which you'll have a new body and which you'll be with the Lord forever. So it's worth getting onto that trip because it brings you into the presence of the Lord for all eternity, and it brings you into the most exciting sequence of events which you could even conceive of taking place. And also it takes you out of this world, which will be in a time of great tribulation.